We have breaking news from the NHL. The Pittsburgh Penguins finally have themselves a new head coach, and GM Kyle Dubas kind of went off the board a little bit with this selection, but I think there's a great possibility this could work out well. We'll discuss the hire and who Dan Muse is coming up next. Welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. As I mentioned, we have some pretty significant news out of the NHL. The Penguins finally have themselves a new head coach, leaving only the Boston Bruins with a vacancy to fill in that regard. The Pittsburgh Penguins and GM Kyle Dubas certainly took their good old time here making this selection. There's been lots of names bantered around. We've been kind of led to believe that the front runners in this search were former Senators head coach DJ Smith, who's currently an assistant with Los Angeles. We've heard Mitch Love, of course, formerly of the Flames organization, working with the Capitals organization as an assistant right now. They've kind of led to believe they were the main ones. Heard a little bit of Jay Woodcroft. But the surprise candidate here by many is Dan Muse, who gets the job and becomes the team's next head coach. So Kyle Dubas kind of went off the board a little bit, but I'm sure Kyle Dubas can be one of the few people who might have a better appreciation for a younger, up-and-coming coach or executive in the NHL, considering how young Dubas himself, I mean, he wasn't a coach, but how young he got into his role. I think he can kind of see probably more than most, a different way of looking at things and just kind of maybe having an appreciation for, a less experienced coach. Obviously, the Penguins are still going to try and be as competitive as they can for the remaining Crosby years, but it's pretty clear that Kyle Dubas is taking this team deeper into rebuild mode. It certainly feels like it had a lot to do with the reasonings why head coach Mike Sullivan is no longer there, why they parted ways. They obviously and publicly acknowledged that they had a disagreement on the timelines for rebuilding and kind of reshaping this roster and when they're going to be more competitive. So I think Dubas is doing what he feels is right for the organization. So Dan Muse comes in as the next head coach. And for a lot of people, they're going, who? What? Where'd this guy come from? And he's a younger coach in his early 40s. He'd be a first-time NHL head coach, but he's not without experience. He's a former player, never made it pro, but he ended up getting out as a player at a fairly young age, get right into coaching. He spent a lot of years in different roles, largely as an assistant coach, but he does have head coaching experience at other levels. He spent, I think it was 5 years at Yale University as an assistant. Then they had a very successful program there as well, so we get to learn a lot there. Went on to become the Chicago Steel head coach in the USHL for a couple of seasons. Had a great track record there. He's also had a chance to be an NHL assistant head coach for the past 5 years between the Nashville Predators and the New York Rangers, working the past couple of years under Peter Laviolette and the Big Apple. During his time in the NHL, he's mostly been a coach in charge of the penalty kill, and those teams that he's worked with had tremendous results. He's kind of recognized as being a very hard-working coach who's really strong with development. Now, the other big part of his resume here is he's done a lot of work with USA Hockey in terms of coaching with their U.S. National Team Development Program for 3 years. He's also been the head coach of the under-18 U.S. team, which won gold here recently as well. So he does have a strong track record at the lower levels, working with a lot of younger players, and has coached a lot of the top younger U.S. talented players that you see around the NHL, including youngster for the Penguins, Rutger McGroarty, like Luke Hughes, Will Smith, like a lot of these guys that are, the top young American talent that's gone through that program for the U.S. NDP in the last few years. He has played a role with a lot of these guys, has a great track record with them, great respect. He's great on the development side, and has had, even though he may not have always been the head coach where he's been, most of his stops along the way have been very successful. Obviously, this past year with the Rangers wasn't a great year, but his first year there, they were very successful and had a deep playoff run. It's believed that if he didn't get this job, that there was going to remain a spot for him on former Penguins coach Mike Sullivan's staff, who is now the head coach of the New York Rangers, but obviously this will be where he goes now. So Dan Muse, the new head coach of the Pittsburgh Penguins, maybe an unknown to many across the NHL, but those who have worked with him and those who've known him, like I said, strong development coach, strong work ethic, which is tremendous in that sense. He beats out guys like DJ Smith and Mitch Love for this job as the Penguins head coach. And to be honest, with all the amount of young talent they're trying to accumulate in Pittsburgh, it kind of makes sense that they go with this type of coach. Obviously, he's not a whole lot older than Sidney Crosby. That should be a unique coach or player dynamic, but Sid being the pro he is, I'm sure won't be any issues. It's going to be different having a coach so closer in age with Sid than, obviously the younger talent on the team. But let me know your thoughts on this hire, this move. Of course, we have game 1 of the Stanley Cup playoffs going later tonight, so certainly stay tuned for that, and I'll be back with another video sometime, hopefully before game time, to wrap up the rest of today's news and rumors around the league. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.